Okay, this morning we're joined by Adam from Circle 12, and he's showing us what I think is a really neat product called DiamondTouch, which is this large display that you're seeing in front of us.
Yep, and so this is the first multi-user touch technology, and let me just open up a demo that illustrates what I mean by multi-user. So you see when I touch the table, it's yellow, and when you touch, you're blue, and do you see how every user is a different color? So it's the first touch technology that lets multiple people work at the same time, and it knows who's who.
Yeah, and look at the cool expanding by different fingers.
Right,
so that's kind of neat.
So it's multi-touch, meaning that you can do gestures, but it's also multi-user because it knows who's who. And the reason we developed this is to support small group collaboration, where the idea is people can gather around the table, we can be face-to-face, and work on the same thing at the same time. And if you think about it, you kind of need to know who's who in order for that to work. Now I got some demos that illustrate what you could do with multi-user touch. Actually, at family night last night, we played a bunch of games and stuff like that.
Wow.
But I'll show you here. Here's my Windows desktop. My finger's a mouse. I can double-click, and basically we have a mouse emulator that lets you operate any standard Windows application using touch gestures. So my one finger's like my left mouse button. My fist is the scroll wheel. So we can tell the difference between a finger and a fist since we're multi-touch. And then we have other touch gestures, like a right click is a touch tap of the thumb, that's a right click. 2 taps is your middle mouse, and that lets you scroll around. There's an on-screen keyboard so you can type. I was actually doing my email just a little while ago. And then
for clearly the whole world to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'll see that it's not just me, and anybody can drive. Now the interesting thing is in Windows there's only one mouse. So if I have the mouse and somebody else tries to take it, they can't have it until I let go, and then they can have it. So it's basically first come, first serve. And so one other interesting thing is if I take my fist, and I showed you how the fist is the scroll wheel. But if I take my fist and I swipe it across the width of the table like that, it recognizes that gesture, takes a screen capture of whatever's on the desktop, and launches a multi-user annotation tool where now we can all draw, and you guys can do this at the same time as me. And you notice all of our pens are different. If you want to change your pen, 5 fingers gives you this palette where you can change your pen color or your pen width. And this is the kind of thing, again, we can be right up on top of each other and it knows who's who. You could only do this with a multi-user touch technology like DiamondTouch.
I feel compelled to ask, what happens when people start banging the table?
You know, the first time we ever showed this in a public forum was at this thing called Wired Next Fest. And we were playing games with like 4th graders for like from 8 in the morning till 9 at night, and people were literally falling onto the table. And so it's pretty rugged. You know, I can drop things on it. I can put my coffee on it. You can see he's got his coffee. You can spill your coffee on it. Yeah, the fragile stuff is up and out of the way, so it's pretty rugged. Now,
so how would our geospatial users use this technology?
So let me quit out of here, and I can just show you. I can save this as a JPEG image or just exit out. So if all you want to do is standard Windows stuff and maybe some annotation, this will work right out of the box.
Right.
But what we've done for GIS is we've made a plug-in tool, a software extension for ArcGIS, and this is actually going to be publicly announced next week. And I'll show you that here. So this is the DiamondTouch plug-in tool, and you can see it's integrated right in. And with that plug-in tool, we now have some iPhone-style 2-finger zooming, or this is a pan gesture. But the interesting thing is that multiple people can work at the same time. Like, oh yeah, you can pan too, right?
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
But if you drag one finger around, you'll see that I'm putting down a road, and he's putting down a path, and you can do this at the same time. You're putting down a bus line, or I can be putting down these highway markers here. And so we can all be, he's got an area tool there. So we can all be working at the same time here. And what's happening here is, you can see over here, there's a database. These aren't just graphic elements. These are actually features that are being geo-registered, but they're registered by user. So for example, I could turn your layers off. If I can just borrow the mouse for a sec.
Sorry.
I can turn your layers off and just look at the stuff that I did, or turn mine off and look at what you guys did. or we could even build a time. Everything's time stamped, so that we could build a timeline that takes a look at this interaction session over time.
Huh, that's pretty neat.
So that's kind of what we've done for GIS, and our plan is over time to come up with plug-in tools for other markets. But I like GIS because people tend to work in small teams, and I think it's a natural fit with the multi-user capability of DiamondTouch. Oh, here's an interesting thing. So here's my delete key, right? So here I can delete my stuff, but I can't delete things that other people did.
Huh.
Because there's a record as to who said what, right? So one idea is like if this were a planning session, a town planning meeting or something like that, and somebody said, hey, there ought to be, you know, some sort of handicap facility right here. 3 weeks later, you could have a record as, you know, who authorized that, because again, we know who did what.
I can see where this would be really beneficial in like a command and control military type situation.
You know, that's where we're getting a lot of our traction.
Right.
People who, you know, want to make decisions, you know, this is where the decision making takes place, is at a table like this. You know,
right.
People tend to work in small teams around a horizontal surface like this. And by enabling everybody to work at the same time, you know, you don't have to take turns. It makes it a lot more natural of an interaction.
So is this the largest table that you guys make, or?
It is. We have two standard sizes. This is a 42-inch right here. We also have a 32-inch diagonal. The reason we chose these sizes is our target is small group collaboration, and here I can reach everything.
Right.
Now, we have talked to some people from like the intelligence community about making a great big one. And you know, it might be that down the road we get a contract to do that, but right now, you know, our target is small group collaboration. And an interesting data point we got is that 70% of all business meetings take place between 2 or 3 people face to face, and the fact that computers, you know, don't support this most common of interaction between people is really the motivation behind this product, because we want to support small group collaboration.
Well, I think this is a really neat tool. And is there anything else, Adam, you'd like to highlight before we go?
Well, let's see. The DiamondTouch plugin tool is going to be publicly announced next week, and so anybody who wants to check that out, we got information on our website. It's circle12.com.
All right. Well, thank you very much for sitting down with us, Adam, literally in this case, and showing us this really neat collaborative tool. And head over to their website if you'd like to find out more information.
All right. Thanks.